The government-run Global Times in China ran an anti-Trump article, and they are really, really unhappy with him. So, among other things, they said this, quote, "In the field of diplomacy, he is ignorant as a child. China needs to launch a resolute struggle with him. Only after he's hit some obstacles and truly understands that China and the rest of the world are not to be bullied will he gain some perception." I think they meant to say perspective, but they said perception. Yeah. I have many things to say about this. So, what are they specifically mad over? The call with Taiwan. Now, I've heard different variations of that story. Some people say, oh, he called Taiwan. Others say, no, the president of Taiwan called him. For those of you who don't understand the politics and the backstory behind this, China claims Taiwan is a province of China. They say, no, you're part of us. And Taiwan's like, meh, that's what you say. We say we're independent and we don't really like you. So there's this kind of political struggle that's been going on for a long time. And it was customary for U.S. presidents to not treat Taiwan as its own entity. And they you wouldn't call the fucking leader of Taiwan or accept a call because you only talk to China. That's basically the idea behind it. Trump breached that. Now, again, he claims, well, they called me, and it was a short call, and they just said, hey, congratulations on winning, and he said thank you, and then that was that. But China's really pissed about that. Now, I have mixed feelings on it, because on the one hand, do I care that he took a phone call, potentially, from Taiwan and said thank you? No, not at all. The reason why I'm mixed on it is that the other angle of it, which is there were reports that he may have done that because he had somebody from his business call them because he wants to get involved in the hotel business in China. That's a problem, because then your personal business is getting involved in international politics and sparking an international crisis, and you shouldn't even have personal business there. You shouldn't have business, period, now that you're president of the United States. You're going to be president of the United States. That's not a thing anymore. You got to step aside with that bullshit, okay? So that's like the same kind of shit we went after Hillary for, and it's just as bad when he does it. So, but putting aside the business angle of it, which I'm totally against, if it was just he took a call from Taiwan, yeah, I'd tell China to go fucking take a hike. Now, I get it. People say, well, they're our number one trading partner, and if you piss off them, that's bad news. Really bad news for the economy and for trade. I get it, but on the flip side, it's a fucking phone call from Taiwan. Like, what are they, a jealous girlfriend? Get the fuck over it. It's not like we took the phone call and then we're like, okay, so deal, we're going to do $78 billion worth of business with you starting tomorrow. Sound good? Like, now, what are we? Is this official? Can you give me a hand job behind a Denny's? Like, no, it's a fucking phone call. Get over it. And then the part that really pissed me off was, so I agree with them when they say he's as ignorant as a child when it comes to diplomacy. Totally. But then they say, he needs to understand that China and the rest of the world are not to be bullied. But hold on, he ain't bullying anybody on this front. He's bullied people before, and I'm against it. When he's banned all Muslims, deport all undocumented immigrants, I'm against the actual bullying. It ain't bullying to take a phone call, bitch. In fact, you're bullying him, because in the state-run newspaper, you're running an article where you're fucking peppering him with all, fucking child, ignorant child, you don't know anything about anything in diplomacy, and we're not to be bullied. And they literally threatened before, like, oh, how about if we cut off the flow of your Apple products? Don't do that. I don't want you to do that. But they say, but like, that's a threat, and that's actually bullying. Whereas Trump just took a phone call, and they're like, we're not to be bullied, but now we're going to bully you. You're bullying. This is bullying. And then now it gets goofy, because here's what else they did. They filed an official complaint with the U.S. government. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. He took a phone call from Taiwan. They're like, oh yeah, we're filing an official complaint with the correct authorities. I need you to get over it. Like this honor culture of like, you have besmirched my honor by talking to somebody I didn't want you to talk to. Like, what is this? What are we, in fucking high school? These are world leaders, and we're acting like we're in high school. And then here's the part that is really bad. They also sent missiles and bombers to their disputed territory in the South China Sea. Oh boy. So look, here's my overall breakdown of this is, I'm somewhat sympathetic to Trump, because if you're just taking a phone call, if it's for business reasons, fuck you, you're wrong, and you shouldn't have done it. But if you just took a phone call because the person called you to wish you, hey, good job, Okay, I'm not mad at you, and I think they need to get over it. But having said that, he's got to be smarter. Because I don't think he's that smart of a guy. I don't. And I don't know why I'm saying that as if it's like people are surprised to hear it. You guys have known I've always thought this about Trump. He's really not that bright. And so as I've always said, like even when I agree with him on like TPP stuff, I'm against TPP, I'm against NAFTA, I'm against the trade deals. I think to myself, okay, good, I'm with you. But do I trust you to be smooth enough and savvy enough and smart enough to renegotiate those deals in a way that doesn't piss off our allies and to not spark a trade war? The answer is fuck no. And this is the kind of thing I'm sensing from China, where, he's going to be Mr. Tough Guy and crack down on China. Judging by their reaction from this, they ain't going to respond in the way you want them to respond. They're going to hurt you. They're going to pull the rug out from underneath you, and not just you, it's going to be the American people. Because you cut off certain business ties between us, or you limit the exporting of certain goods, and all of a sudden the entire country is fucking super pissed, and rightfully so. So we're in uncharted waters here, and it's a scary, scary thing to see. Part of me is sympathetic to Trump because it's so stupid that they get all butthurt over a phone call. But then the other part of me is like, dude, pump your brakes. You got to be smarter, because if you're not smarter, there's going to be real-world economic consequences to your nonchalant actions.